Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. You know, sometimes when we do this show, it's a kind of a serious show. Sometimes it's not. And there are some people that I just have to have on multiple times because they make me giggle and they make Rochelle giggle too. And that would be Dallas, who's right there. And Rochelle, would you like to introduce Dallas to us?
Yes, we have Dallas Collis with us today. Thank you for being here. How is your wonderful self?
Perfectly wonderful. Happy to be here.
Yes. Your point was just proven.
Yeah, there are just sometimes, Dallas, that it just is so much fun to have somebody who is a comic and
Who chose this day?
Oh my God, I hadn't even looked at it yet. Do you know what day it is, Rochelle?
I've been up since 3 a.m.
It's Friday the 13th.
How is that perfect for us? Because that's a story.
That is a story. What story is that?
Well, tell us all about it.
Well, you know, people believe the story, the superstition of the 13th. Yeah. And what we talk about is the story mind. So it's perfect that we're on a day that is based in fear and insecurity in a story. But who cares if it's the 13th? What does it matter? Meaningless.
It really is. Your camera's going back and forth. Anyway,
I know, and I don't know why.
Because it's Friday the 13th.
You had to say that.
I did.
Well, and you know, I have to point this out. What is crazy is it almost feels like there's been a buildup to this day. And how everybody, like, I never was focused on the fact that today was the day until it happened today. And I'm like, this is going to be a great day. Like, I think about it as fun. There's places open. The energy is high. Everybody's a little more attentive to energy on that day, which I think we can use as a positive. But I have seen that it's in the last 5 days, specifically, whoever I've talked to, wherever I've gone, whatever I've done, people seem to be so tense. Do you think it's because we've set ourselves into a different shift in the last few days, knowing that this day was coming and gave it the meaning that we did?
How the hell would I know?
Well, you're supposed to have an idea or opinion, right?
I gave you my opinion. It's a story people believe.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
All.
Yeah, it's not real.
But why do they believe it?
Well, there we go. That's another story, isn't it?
It is. And you're full of stories, young man. So tell us the one about Friday the 13th in your world.
Well, I mean, Rochelle just said it. People would anticipate something in the future. Right? So if they have what do you call it? You know, the superstition about Friday the 13th. Well, on Monday, they know Friday is the 13th. So it's in their mind during that week. So Rochelle's picking up on the vibe of people who are looking forward. And you can pick up that vibe on everybody about a million different things. It's called anxiety. You know, people who are anxious, all they're doing is thinking about something to come. And the something to come, whether it's Friday the 13th or a business meeting where you have to make a presentation and you're worried about it, it's the same thing. It's just in your mind. It's just a story you believe about tomorrow. It doesn't exist. It's never going to be there. Because when you're here, it's always now. It's not Friday the 13th. It's just today. And when you get those places, you get to that meeting, you put on that show you have to do, and you always walk out of it going, oh, That was it. It's never a big deal.
Yep.
Well, and to that point, I have a team and they do not work in this country. And so it is no longer Friday the 13th in their world.
There you go. So what would have any relationship to it?
Well, yeah. And I asked them, how was your Friday the 13th? And I had no idea what you're talking about, because that's an American thing that we do.
That's because it was in the past.
Exactly.
Something that was created so long ago in the past, people still anticipate for in the future. I wonder what it would be like in a sense of mind, if we spent each day on that day rather than anticipating somewhere we're never going to be at, like you mentioned, Dallas. We do it for holidays, we do it for birthdays, we do it for anything. I did it myself because I had court this last week, and oh my God, I didn't sleep. I was worried. I all of a sudden didn't know what to say. I was losing mind and sight of my situation. And then it came, it happened. I said 3 things and that was it.
And what was the outcome?
And then it almost made me want to cry, because it was like, why did I do all of this for no reason?
Bingo!
Why did I give it a reason it didn't even have? I was anticipating something being stressful that was not stressful.
Welcome to your story mind.
Yeah. Yeah. How
you make up things, you create things.
Once we're able to see that we do that, is there a key point that we can focus on to catch it rather than let it play out and then see it?
There's the practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because what happened is you didn't create the worry about court coming. I guarantee that a thought arose in your head.
Yeah.
You didn't make it happen. It just came up and you went, oh yeah, Friday. Oh yeah, it's a meeting. Oh yeah. Thoughts are coming.
Yeah.
And you're jumping on board and saying, yeah, it's true. Oh yeah, I should be worried. Oh my God, what am I going to wear? Oh, I got to make sure I'm there on time. Oh, a million thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But you're the one riding them. It's like waves, and you're surfing and you're grabbing the next wave and riding it. If you're aware, you say, oh, right, that's just a thought. I don't have to be worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
You can question it, but you have to be awake to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. What you were doing is sleepwalking. You were just letting the thoughts come, and you were taking the wave and riding it, because you weren't stopping and going, oh, is Brichelle being smart? Is Brichelle using her rational mind? No, she's fantasizing and just flying in the story.
Okay.
So the practice is waking up to that. The practice is catching the thought and saying, oh, is that real? Because you didn't think the thought. You didn't create the thought. It came up. That's the difference. There's thinking and thoughting. Do you have thinks or do you have thoughts? We have thoughts because they arise in our mind. Thinking is an activity you perform. You choose to think about something, to get a solution, to figure a problem out. That's an active movement. Thought is not. It just arises from the story.
So what if somebody came to you and was like, yes, Dallas, but what if I don't worry about something and I think it's going to be great and I go into a situation I'm all of a sudden not prepared? What would you tell them?
Not prepared is a thought that says you're not prepared. As soon as you make that statement, you have left now and you've gone to a fear. I'm not prepared. What is not prepared? You've made it up right then, right in that moment. We do that at work all day long. Oh, here comes Sally. I made her angry yesterday. I better be careful what I say. Well, why did I do that? Why not just, I'm a great person, she's a great person.
Hey, Sally.
In an instant, we make up these things out of that story, out of fear and insecurity running around our head. And you grab it in just 1 second. Don't grab it. Be aware.
And you touched on something very important. You just said insecurity.
Yeah. We are all insecure in our story.
Dum 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 dum. Insecurity.
We've all tripped and fallen down. Oh, you have to do that once. You only have to do
Some of
that
us
once.
more. Some of us more than others, by the way.
But see, that is what insecurity is. You've done it once, or you believe you've done it, and it's always there, waiting for you. What if? What if? What if? But when Djokovic is playing tennis, he's not going what if in his head. He's just right there playing his game. He's not thinking about the time he blew the serve. He's just thinking about doing right now. But he could easily go to that. But he's practiced. He's very practiced at being focused, in attention. And that's no different than any of us do. When we're doing our best work, we are focused and in attention. We're not having to think about anything. We just do it. We're on an automatic pilot of right now, and it just goes. As soon as we go, oh, I screwed up once before, I better be careful, you're not here. You are elsewhere right away.
And Dallas, I want to make this point because years ago, you're and I are close to being the same age. And years ago, remember the first dance you went through in high school or junior high school?
Absolutely.
And you were sitting at the side and you saw a girl that you'd seen in class or you'd seen around, and you decided, I'm going to go ask her to dance. And then all the stories come through. I can't go over there. She's going to hate me. She's not going to like me. She's going to be rude to me. She's going to make me feel small.
I'm going to sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes. And which I regularly do. But and that happens to us all the time. And you know what? The thing is that I did that once, and I went over and finally got the courage to ask her out or to ask her to dance. And she said, what have you been waiting for?
There you go.
Well,
that happens in life constantly.
Yeah. And you touched on it, Dallas, when you said when you lose focus is when all those things come into play. So really, does it all come back to making sure you're just simply focused?
Yes. Of course it does.
Well, I'm never focused. I'm just
you know, I always tell a story of we all got given the secret to life on the first day of grade 1. We're sitting there in our desks and there's hustle and bustle and we're scared and we're excited and we're happy and oh my God, what's going to happen? And all the kids around us are shifting in their seats and wondering. And then this adult walks to the front of the class, our new teacher. And what did they do? Attention, class. Attention. And then they took roll. Rochelle, present. Kevin, present. What did they just teach us? Attention, presence. Pay attention and be here. We were given the secret to life. The teacher didn't know they were giving it. The students didn't understand what they were being given. But if you take that today as an adult and just say, if I am paying attention and I'm present, I'm here doing it, guess what? Life is perfectly easy. Because there isn't yesterday. There isn't fear and insecurity. There isn't worry about 5 minutes from now or 5 days from now. You're here. The brain cannot go to those places if you're here. The reason you do your job with me today, you're present. You're in attention. There's nothing going on around you. You're not worried about what just happened in the last podcast at this very second, or what's going to happen with the next guest. You're just here. That's the whole secret to life. Because we spend 70% of our day daydreaming. It's called habit. It's called routine. Behaviors we've done so many times, we don't have to be in attention. We don't have to be present. That's the story of Kevin driving home at the end of the day, dead tired, walking into his kitchen, slapping his keys down on the counter, and the sound goes, and Kevin goes, I don't even remember driving home. I don't remember anything about that drive. How is this possible? Because we're there in that sleepwalking. Most of our day, most of our life happens there.
I don't want to scare anybody, but I drove a bus for 12 years, and that happens all the time. I had a customer say, excuse me, but I think you just missed the turn. It's like, oh, I did? Where are we? Anyway, I don't even know.
At least you are good with directions,
on
Kevin.
Your bus.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Dallas, I have never thought of anything better that I've ever learned in school. And if that's one positive thing you can take from our school system, I think that's huge. I'm going to be walking around all day, everywhere. You see me in the car, in the store. I'm talking to myself to make sure. Attention, Brashal, where are you at right now? Where's your mind? Because even in the grocery store, your mind starts wandering, and then you try to be in so many places at once, and it's so overwhelming.
Can you see that sticky note right there?
Yes.
That's on the edge of my TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's from when I first started rebuilding my life after the collapse of my life. And that sticky note says, get off your ass. It's the TV reminding me, wake up. You're sleeping, staring at this rectangle. Wake up, get up, do what you need to do. I had to put sticky notes around the house to tell me to wake up. There's one on the fridge, and it would say, what's going into your mouth? To make me think just for a second, wake up. Oh, don't just pick any crap out of the fridge. Pick something better quality today. That's what it was about, waking up, being a parent, being here in attention, being present. That took time because I realized I lived most of my life in habits and routine behaviors that weren't healthy. So not creating new habits, because I don't call them habits. I don't have a habit anymore. I have my staying awake and being present. That's it. Nothing is habitual. Habitual is outside of presence. Habitual is addictive behavior.
I don't know what you're talking about. We need to take a quick break. And Dallas, when we come back, I'd like you to listen to this commercial so that when we come back, we can talk about feeding your white wolf. We'll be right back.
You became a real estate agent for freedom, success, and real momentum. So why are you still stuck waiting for closings to save you? I'm Ophir Adar, founder of Real Momentum, and I help agents like you become seven-figure earners. My first client that I coached, brand new agent, made $250,000 back in 2006. What's the secret? You feed your white wolf. That's the part of you that's bold and unstoppable and a closer and able to build rapport quickly. So click Get Listings at Real Momentum and let's unleash your real estate potential.
It's not working.
Oh, I'm playing such beautiful music and it's not working. It must be Friday the 13th. That's why.
I'll just dance on my own. It's okay.
Okay. So, Dallas, what do you think of feeding your white wolf?
I shot my white wolf.
Why?
Because it's another figment of your imagination that you need to be strong, tough, disciplined, fighting, struggling, achieving, growing. That's silly.
Why?
Where are you going?
Forward.
You're already here. You've got everything. There's nothing to go to. There's nothing to get. You know, it reminded me right away. I was thinking just the other day, I was thinking about you, Kevin, because I was watching the last few shows and there's constantly a life coach. Do you remember back about 1990, I think somebody came up with the idea that if everyone in the world lived at our level of income and consumption, we'd need 3 more planets.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yep.
I was thinking the other day, we probably need 1 more planet just for all the life coaches. So I've decided that I'm in recovery from life coaching.
You're a life coach in recovery?
Yeah. I got to realize we don't teach anything. No one can teach anyone else anything. You can only be an example and people get it. It makes sense. So I'm calling myself now a resonator, not an influencer. Because when we resonate, you jive, you get it. You're in my vibe. We've got the energy flowing. And that's all that happens, because nobody can do something better unless they're ready to do something. Yep. And it's only ever for themselves. And this white wolf is attaining something. It's getting better, growing, achieving, winning. And that's external. That's the idea of, getting more money, buying more stuff, getting more status, becoming something. And that's all external ideas. And we're not external, we're internal. All our problems are external. I said the only thing that makes life difficult is you. It's only ever you. Nothing in this world makes your life difficult except for you. And the externalizing is life being difficult. Thinking I need to get there. I need to achieve that. I need to buy this. I need to get you to like me. I need to fall in love. I need that family. I need that car. Everything is external. And we're taught that from the time we're kids. So we live in this story that we've got to get everything in our life. There is nothing to get. Nothing to get. There is nothing out there. You've already got it. You're here. You're a beautiful, lovely human being. That's it. You're one right from the beginning.
So what if someone came to you and they said, Dallas, I have goals, but I don't want to get lost in focusing on the future because I know that I'm blessed and I'm present with everything I have in each moment that I'm alive.
Great. I'd say, great, you've got it. You're already there.
So it would just be, rather than, okay, so I'm trying to understand. You're saying rather than to obsess on the idea of it, just live in it, right?
There's nothing wrong with a goal. It's good to have a place you're going to, you're traveling to, a vision of your future. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. It's when you place your meaning in the goal, which means I'm not good enough here. I'll be better when I'm there.
So putting an identity with it.
That's the problem with a goal.
Okay.
People run around trying to get to something because they think they will mean something to them. They will become something different when they get there. That's the problem with a goal. Because you can't do work when. You can only do work now. Mm-hmm. And people are constantly living right here, but they're thinking constantly when I get there. Yeah. And that's the difficulty. Because your mind knows, you're telling it, I'm not good enough. I'm missing something. I need something. And that's why you're looking at the goal. That's putting your meaning in the goal. The goal isn't the meaning. You can't control the outcome. You can't control the future. And you're never going to be in the future. There is no future. There's only now. And the work you do right now is what you see as the future.
That's what I was going to say. So it'd be safe to say that it is important to be in the present, because as you practice what you're building for the future in the present, it happens. It's not something you're internalizing and then it crushes you when it doesn't turn out a certain way, because you still have yourself no matter what.
Right.
Okay.
It's not doing for something. Mm-hmm. It's doing for the doing. Right? You're doing it right now. You are doing a podcast right now. What do you get out of the podcast? Not something tomorrow. You're getting it right now. You enjoy being here doing it. in the conversation is the reason you're doing it.
Mhm.
It's not a future idea. You are in it. And that's why there's a problem with goals for so many people, because they think they're getting to something. It'd be like you saying, I'm only in this podcast because I might get more popular with people down the road. And if that's your thinking, then you're not going to be here. You're not going to be the best Rochelle or the best Kevin because you're thinking tomorrow. But all your work is here. And the reason you love it is the experience and the feeling you get right now. Not what you're going to get. You don't wake up tomorrow going, oh, finally, I get to feel good about that interview with Dallas yesterday. It's not delayed. It's right here. It's instant gratification is life. And yet we constantly think we're going to be gratified when we get there. When this thing comes, when we become something, achieve something, buy something. That's the problem with goals.
Okay, I love that.
Sounds to me like you're talking about the do be have scenario, which is let me see if I can phrase it. It's like if people are telling you that if you do something, then you're going to have something, and then you're going to be happy. Right. And the reverse is actually true. If you be happy, then you've already achieved happiness. Then everything else that comes to you is a reflection of the happiness that you're already exhibiting. And so you're going to do things that will give you things to make you happy because you're already there. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. You confused me a fair bit, but
I confused myself too.
It does make sense though, because Kevin slowed me down a few days ago and he just said something so simple, one thing at a time. Yeah. If you just do one thing at a time, you can only focus on worrying about that one thing, and then it no longer becomes a worry. And it was funny because I talked about this on a previous show. We do this so much where it's like, if one thing has a bunch of things attached to it, let's say, you know, I need to do this, which means this, and this also have to be done along with that thing. And it becomes this huge thing in our mind. It's like, oh, I got 20 things to do. No, you have one thing. One thing that has little branch offs of thing. And it was funny in that moment, Kevin told me one thing at a time, and I thought about my mind racing. And then I was like, why am I thinking about even thinking? Like, what if I just stopped? And then I took a breath and everything just kind of went silent, like around me in my head. It was weird. Like everything stopped. And I looked up at this sticker I got from a family member when I left Colorado. It is just the most simple thing, but it hit me differently because of what it says. No thoughts, just vibes. And it brought me back out of my head and into my body. So after we take this break, I want to ask you a little more about how you see the difference of those, you know, getting out of your head and being present in your body, and like just your idea about it, because you have so many different perspectives and I'm going to try to pull as much out from you as I can.
Because there are people that are listening to this that are tuning this up because they don't want to miss any of it, because some of these concepts and stuff, although be it simple, they're very complex. And
or are they?
Or are they?
That's a story in our mind. It's like, oh man, this is really complex. I don't know if I can figure this part out.
Exactly.
But it's not. It's simple. It's just my favorite saying in the world. Let it be. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin. Rochelle's dancing because we've got imaginary music playing in the background. And
I was going to say, I don't hear any music.
Day, the boogie never leaves you. A good friend the good friend that I made in Colorado said that, and it stuck with me. The boogie never leaves you. And people are always asking me, why are you always moving? Why are you singing? And I'm like, it's alive. It's inside of me. And then that brought me to think, well, it's because I'm in tune with my body. If I was in my head, that probably wouldn't be available, right?
Yeah. So I want to get to a couple of things you said a moment ago, Rochelle. One of them was about a million things, a million thoughts, a million moves you have to make. Mm-hmm. We always work with analogies and metaphors, and I think about it's cooking. You know, you cook a recipe, there might be 20 ingredients. Mm-hmm. And if you think about each ingredient and getting them together and getting the pans and you start to get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And cooking becomes hard, and it's complicated, complexity. But when you realize you only do one thing at a time, and you just do the one thing, and then you do the next one thing, and then the next one, all the complexity evaporates. And everything in our lives is the same way. You can try and grapple it all together and get all the marbles and, we got to hold on, don't let one roll away. Or just pick up one, do the thing, pick up another, do the thing, and pretty soon you've gone through them. And that's the decomplexing that we have to do in life, is not to see it as this huge story, the big drama that's constantly going on. And it's hard today. We're living in a time, look at the drama in the world around us right now. And I've got friends who are focused on all the little pieces of the drama, and they're overwhelmed. They're living in an anxious, upset, they're confused, everything that the world can offer us at any moment. Or you can say, here's fear and insecurity being played out. Here it is being played out all over the world. You're bad. I'm good. I'm right. You're wrong. If I believe this, I'm in conflict with you. I'm in conflict with things going on because I'm instantly in that fear and insecurity. And if you can look at that and go, wow, this is the same as what goes on inside me. It's going on inside the leader of Israel and the leader of Iran, the leader of Ukraine, the leader of Russia, the leader of the United States. They're all feeling the same thing as me. They just happen to be a position where it plays out. It does a lot more damage. But if you understand it's all the same story, then we make a more peaceful world when we're more peaceful with our own internal fear and insecurity by realizing it's just a story.
Well, and then going back to that too, it's not just you. When you carry yourself like that and you walk around in that mode, you affect everyone around you. And Absolutely. Then that becomes another problem.
How is it a problem?
Okay, well, not if we make it. Yes, I know. Oh my gosh. Ever since I first talked to you, Dallas, everything in my head, I'm like, no. I'll tell myself something or I'll say something out loud and people hear me tell myself no, and I'll fix it because I'm aware that I'm giving it a meaning it doesn't really need to have. But I bring that up because if I wasn't that example, how you talk about being an example, the way it would play out would be to have the other person kind of just in a loop with me. So it brings me to this because a lot of times I want your opinion on birds of a feather flock together. You know, you have a bunch of crabs in a bucket, you keep getting pulled down, this and this and that. But what if you're the crab that changes And then all the crabs start to think you're crazy. But they listen and they follow, not because of what you said or what you've been able to teach, because I like how you put that as you can't force anybody to listen or understand or any of the above. It either happens or it doesn't. And that kind of comes with respect. But if they see it playing out, it can cause that ripple effect in a positive way too, right?
It can, but the story, the narrative is so big. I could say these things about fear and insecurity and not believing the story within me and change my view, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fear and insecurity story is global. So I'm not going to have much effect. So the birds of a feather are, I always say the analogy again is cooking. There's 8 billion chefs in the world, all cooking the same recipe, but it comes out tasting a little different with each one. It smells a little different. It looks a little different. And our fear and insecurity picks up and goes, oh, they're different. They're not the same as me. Cooking the same dish. But we jump on the difference. And that narrative is the fear and insecurity that the whole world is trapped in. As if there were a difference. There's no difference. The fear and insecurity in me, as I said, is the same as in the leader of Iran right now. I don't want to look bad. I want to be liked. I've got to seem strong. I need to be tough in this story. I need to stand up. These are all reactions to our own fear and insecurity.
What do you mean when you say there's no difference?
Because we all have the same story. We all have the same feelings. We all want to be loved. We all want to be calm, happy. We all want to have a loving mind. Every human being does. He's no different than you. You're no different than Putin. We're all the same. We are human beings who are fragile only because of this fear and insecurity. That is our fragility. And the wolf, being the wolf, is just a mask. It's like a Band-Aid that says, see, I'm tough, I'm strong. And all we're doing is fighting against the real, true us, that feeling, that fragility that says, I'm just a beautiful, loving human. And I've got to be open to that. I've got to let my heart open to that. But today's world is, oh, got to be strong, man. Don't show that. Got to be tough.
Yeah. Or be rude to protect yourself. Set those boundaries. Tell that person no. Do this thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
We talked about, the first time we spoke was about everyone gets to their first addiction in life. And the first addiction is blame. Right? So for me, I blame my school. I blame the church. I blame Boy Scouts. I blame these people for hurting me as a child. But we do it throughout our lives. We're watching world leaders blaming each other. They're bad. They're at fault. We've got to stop them. Be afraid. It's just a blame game. It's a childish addiction. Why? Because they're afraid to be so strong that they could stand up in front of the world and say, this is wrong. I don't need to win. I don't need to be strong. I need to be a human being who cares about other human beings. I'm putting down my stick. I'm putting down my rocks. I'm not going to fight in this sandbox. If you want my truck, you take it. Because that's what little boys are doing. They're fighting in a sandbox, blaming each other and throwing sand at each other. It didn't change when they were little kids. And we're all involved. That's why we are all the same.
Now, Dallas, I've got to point this out because you brought up Boy Scouts. Well, I was at a Boy Scout jamboree one time, and my group and I were together, and another group came swooping down on us and started picking a fight. And one guy jumped on me, and we wrestled around, and then we got up and we're getting ready to punch each other. And I thought to myself, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't think I want to do this. And so I dropped my hands, and he punched me in the face. Rationalize that, would you please?
Well, I can't. There's no rationalizing it. It'll happen.
That's true.
You're going to fall down. You're going to get a bloody nose. That's life. So what? What do you do about it? Do you retaliate, or did you just take it and that was it? And you went along. Life moved on.
Life moved on. I said something about you're the type of person that would hit somebody when their guard is down and just let it be, because it didn't serve any purpose to continue doing that.
There you go. And you can look at what's going on in the world right now. And Kevin, you know, there is nothing happening here that is serving any purpose that is rational or human in any way.
Nope. It's all ego, and it's all about who can be the best and who's this and that. And the truth is, and you're right, Dallas, the truth is nobody's any of it.
No.
Yeah. How about we all just one single time, let's change everything we've ever thought about Friday the 13th, if it's going to have any meaning in this country, and let's all just stand up at 9:00 p.m. and raise your white flag, because it comes to a point to where it's I love how you mentioned that, Colin, before even Kevin said that, because now he's talking at a whole nother level, is when you look into yourself and you surrender with yourself, you can't fight against the world and everything else, because you know you don't have control of it. And it's crazy to me that it seems so simple to just stop, to just surrender, to just be like, you know what, I'm worthy. I don't care what anyone else says. I'm going to be this. Like, at least just choose one, right?
Yeah.
Just be one person.
Yeah. But the story is so complicated.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
Okay. I know.
We believe in the movie. We believe in the complexity. We believe in the drama, the storm.
Right. But do you think it could be detrimental if people all of a sudden were like trying to use this in a different way than maybe you're explaining it, and we're like, okay, well, I'm going to take away all that meaning from all that happened, and that means that I don't really need to heal it?
You don't heal. You can't heal. There's no such thing as healing.
You're already healed.
That's a fantasy.
You guys drive me crazy.
There's nothing to heal. You simply get out of the play, out of the act, out of the movie.
Okay.
Leave it. You don't heal it. You leave it. You're not going to fix anything. Those guys aren't going to fix themselves. And you're not going to fix them. But you can leave the drama and not be caught up in it, and not be upset and anxious and worried inside, because you leave it. You're not going to change it. You could change you by leaving the story. Well, they're going to have to leave their own story. What?
Yeah, I wanted to hear you say that, because a lot of times we think that we need to go through this huge process of being able to feel or think a certain way about something. But Dallas, I realized from what you've taught me, I've caught myself so many times, even in the last months, like, I'm just kind of reliving this. I'm remaking it real, when all I need to do is just, okay, that's what happened. It made me better, and it's gone.
Realizing you're responsible. Yeah. You're responsible for all of it. You know, I said in the first time we spoke, we talked about trauma. It's 50 years ago I was traumatized. How did it get here today? How would it be upsetting my life and causing me anger or regret or anxiety? How is that possible? It happened 50 years ago. It didn't get up and follow me. It didn't hang out like some mean friend beating me on the backside for 50 years. I picked it up. I put it in a bag, threw it over my shoulder, and walked with this trauma. I'm the one who looked after it, took care of it, protected it, and kept it alive. And at any time, I could have just taken the bag and gone, what am I doing this for? There's no one forcing me to do this. It's just me. So I put it down. As soon as I realized it was only me. It's a story. I believed this thing was real. And that's why you can't heal a trauma. It happened 50 years ago. An event did take place. I'm not trying to say it didn't happen. What I'm trying to say is the time between then and now is all my responsibility. I'm the one carrying the trauma. I'm the one believing it's real. I'm the one believing in the pain, the suffering, the anxiety, the worries, the regrets, the anger. Everything was me. everything in these men willing to throw bombs at each other is the same thing. They're carrying pain and suffering and fear and insecurity and taking it out on the other guy because they don't know how to deal with it in themselves. You don't heal, you walk away.
So if somebody were to like tell you that, well, I have to go through this trauma so that I can see how it's affecting me now, do you think it really would be so simple as if you put it down, those things would no longer follow you because that attachment would no longer be real in your mind?
Well, you've got to get to the point where you realize you believe it's real.
Okay.
And then say, what is a belief?
Let's talk about that when we come back.
Oh, okay.
You just take a real quick break. This is I've got aspirin here. I'm going to be taking those in a few minutes because we'll be right back.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure our world. Then share them with family and friends.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald and Rochelle, and the guy that's making my head hurt that's Dallas right there. He's
That's
coming up
blame, Kevin. That's blame.
And because I was thinking about two things, and the first one was, you were talking about cooking. I used to work for a Mexican restaurant chain. And they had packets of spices and they had recipes for everyone. There were 6 restaurants, and the primary cooks to do all the prep work and to do all of those things. And they used the same recipe. Yeah. Each one came up slightly different because they had their own take on it as well. So even though things are the same for all of us, we get to add our own little spicy into it. Don't you think?
We do. Yes, we do.
And the other one is, I was thinking about my mother-in-law, who took the fact that she was adopted in 1930 her entire life. It affected so much because that was a story that she told everybody. I'm adopted. Nobody loves me. But that was something that she said. Nobody else said that.
A belief. Back to the belief.
Well, and Dallas, before you even start talking about this, I have to say that you drove me insane the first time we talked about this, because I have gotten to the point to where I'm like, okay, well, if whatever I believe is reality, here's a good example. I'm being so authentic right now. I have this alcohol pad. I just sliced my finger open in that 30 seconds we took, somehow grabbed something. What? And then I was like, okay, well, the easiest, fastest way to help myself instead of focusing on this pain is put alcohol on it, close it, let it burn, let it hurt really bad, and then that will stop. And it's funny now because when I start to feel pain, I try to overcome it with my mind. I'm like, okay, this pain isn't real, this and this and that. Why do people do that? Can pain be real but not negative?
Sure, of course it can.
Because this hurts.
Well, but that's not a belief. That's reality. See, you can't believe reality. That's a misnomer. Reality is real. A belief isn't real. It's a belief. That's show me yesterday. That's what brought my whole change. Show me yesterday. Where is it? It's a belief. It doesn't exist. It's not real. I believe it. I believe I was adopted. Oh, poor me. My life is terrible. This is a belief of yesterday. It doesn't exist. It's only played out now, but it's not reality. The cut
what
is
happened
reality.
Is real. What is now? Ha
Michelle, do you know what gravity is?
Yes.
Do you know that it's real, or do you believe it's real?
I'm a little conspiracy theorist, so I don't know if you want to ask me that question.
What could the conspiracy be? Take a
I
golf
mean,
ball
I
in your hand and
believe
turn your
because
hand
they
over
tell
and it
me.
falls to the floor.
Yeah. Okay.
You know gravity's real. You can see things. You fall down if you don't hold yourself up.
Yes.
You don't believe it's real. Look at the man with proof of gravity right there in his arm.
Boy, no kidding. And it was gravity for real. Because everything like that's a law of the universe. And it just is real. But but Dallas, how many centuries did we go through before an apple dropped from a tree and Sir Isaac Newton said, why did that do that? And he came up with gravity. Before that, they had no idea. That's just the way it was.
Yeah, just perception. That's just perception and trying to describe something that's real that hadn't been described. It's really kind of inconsequential. We all knew gravity without knowing the name. We all knew the action, what would happen. The caveman knew if he stepped off the cliff, he was going to fall. He didn't have to know what gravity was in any scientific way or use words. So it really has very little relevance. We create relevance from it. Mm-hmm. Expertise, scientific knowledge, technology, you name it. But
and if it wasn't the caveman that when he fell off the cliff, it was the second guy because
exactly
he was not going to do that.
Example. But let's get back to belief because this is the pivotal. This is the whole pivoting of the story, is what we believe. Every single harm we feel in our lives comes from belief, not reality. There's nothing real. You cut yourself, but that's not a harm to your life. An injury physically, you deal with it. It's medical, it's a physical life. But all the harm you do to your life is mental. It's all in belief. The anxiety, the suffering, the pain, the fear, the insecurity, getting in fights, confrontations, arguments, every struggle that we think is a hard problem in our lives is that. It's all wrapped up in a belief.
Yeah, like if I started to believe.
I went through alcoholism, cancer, nearly suicidal, lost everything, my home, my family, my business. You could see it all as physical harm. What was the consequences of the physical harm? Nothing. So you go get a new house, so you start a new job. Cancer, either you get better or you don't. But none of that stuff really affects the life. It's what happens up here. The perception that told me it was gravity, the perception that told me it was fear. It's all about that. It's all about what we believe about it. And none of those beliefs are real. We only believe them. I can't show you yesterday. I can't show you tomorrow. I can't go live in yesterday. I can't live in tomorrow. All that stuff is in our heads. And that's where all our worries and troubles are. I just listened to Netanyahu on the news last night saying, half his speech was saying what Iran will do. They will come get us. They will come get you. They will go after Europe. They're so bad. They're going to do. He was talking about the future constantly. Something that's a fantasy. It doesn't exist. Why is he doing it? Because that's where fear resides, the future and the past. He brought up Nazi Germany and the extermination of Jews. He brought up the future and the past constantly. Why? Because all our fears reside there. There are no fears here. They can't exist right now in the moment, only if we bring them up, only if we imagine something bad that did happen or something bad that might happen. It's the only place they happen. So yeah,
is there a practice that you do in the morning,
class.
Dallas?
What?
Is there a practice you have that you do each morning, even if it's just telling yourself something that kind of like helps you be in that mode to not be so easily tied to believing things? Like if there was dust in my finger, now I'm going to get it cut off and I'm going to have surgery by next week. And Like, is there things that you do to help you stay in this mode of being connected and aware and present?
Yeah, I don't dabble in the past or the future. I mean, it is that simple. I don't think about it. I don't think about yesterday. Memories are completely unimportant. They're trash. Memories don't do anything for you. Nothing. We've all got, have you got maybe you're not old enough to have a photo album at home.
I do.
Of physical pictures, right? In a book?
Yes.
You can go into 1 billion homes and you will find a box somewhere with 8 or 10 photo albums. What's that about?
I've been there, I know.
but understand, photo albums are the idea of memory. We think they're important. Well, I can't throw that out. That's important to me. That was from blah, blah, blah in the past. And so we keep it, like filling our bags with all this stuff. And then every once in a while, that spring cleaning idea comes and you open up a box and go, man, I haven't been in this box for 20 years. Why am I hanging this thing around? Why am I carrying this with me? What is this for? That's what I do now. I just don't go there anymore. And I literally got rid of photos. The past doesn't mean anything. I'm never going to live there. Why do I want to carry around this stuff? I don't. I physically threw stuff away that meant yesterday, that was connected to the past. Because it wasn't important.
Well, how do you reconcile really good memories from the past? Do you cherish them or do you let them go too?
I don't cherish them, but they will come up on their own. Like, I was just talking to somebody yesterday and it was about Christmas and the great memories I've got as a kid at Christmas, because my family would get together and sing songs and it's this incredibly warm, beautiful feeling. Nothing wrong with that. We're not talking about those kind of supportive memories. We're talking about the non-supportive.
Wow.
The memories that bring up the fear and insecurity, the memories that hurt us, the memories we think pain resides in. That's the stuff you get rid of. But the practice of me saying I threw out pictures, they weren't necessarily meant for good or bad. They were just about the idea, stay out of there. I don't go looking for the good Christmas memory. It may come along in a conversation, and that's great. But I don't go looking for it.
And Dallas, unfortunately, young man, we don't have 2 hours for this show, and I wish we did.
You told me 2 days.
That was yesterday, and I don't live in yesterday, and I live in today. But if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do it? Because just to give themselves a headache just talking to you.
Is my name showing up on the screen?
It is.
Will people who watch this see that name?
Yes, but there are also going to be millions that are doing audio.
Dallas, call us at gmail.com.
And that is DALLASCOLLIS@gmail.com.
There you go.
And Dallas,
and be careful because you never know the response you're going to get from him.
After what Kevin just said, no one's going to call. They're going to go, oh my God, I'm going to get a headache.
No, they're going to love you because you give people things to think about that they wouldn't normally think about, and that's a very important thing. It's a very important
idea, buddy.
And you do it well, pal.
Here we go.
Oh gosh, you guys.
And,
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And Dallas again, spell his last name, Rochelle, again.
Dallas Collis, COLLIS. You can contact him by using that name at gmail.com. And thank you again, Dallas. You have to come back. We already know this.
Thank you so much. You're great. I enjoy talking with you.
Yes.
You are one of the most
interesting.
He's so articulate, that young man.
I tell you what, I used to be. I don't remember when I lost it, but apparently I have.
I think it was in that arm.
I think you're right. Thank you, Dallas. And Rochelle and I will be back in a half hour with another wonderful podcast. I'm hoping I can speak by then. See you. Thank you, Dallas.
Thanks, Dallas.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.